Welcome to Truth and Testimony, the broadcast, where we teach the Word of God. You will also hear about world news and how it relates to Bible prophecy, plus interviews and testimonials from men and women of God who have devoted their lives to serving Yahshua, Jesus Christ our Lord. Now, without further ado, let's get to our host, Adrian Scott.
Greetings and shalom. This is Adrian Scott, and I welcome you to Truth and Testimony, the broadcast. It's time to just take a little look at what's up with Adrian Scott and just kind of an update and touch on some stuff. So, in the general sense of that, the first thing I wanted to mention is just upcoming video content and stuff. Now, there's a couple things going on. The wife and I had been talking about doing these couples videos. That is still going to happen. So with the hospital stuff with me, and then we had this other hospital stuff with a very close family friend, really family. Then we had a van breakdown and we were down a vehicle, and where we live, you need to have a vehicle. And often we can be traveling in different directions, so we each need our own vehicle, the wife and I, and we were relying on one vehicle. So a lot of plans had to get shifted around in order to get the things done that we need to do, because we're kind of smack in between two towns, as it were, and it takes us some distance to get to either one. And therefore we really need a vehicle to do that. So we were down a vehicle and having to deal with that. And then probably the main thing is my wife ended up coming down with this, don't know, some kind of cold or flu or something. But the biggest effect of it was, other than she was getting some nasty headaches, but she almost totally lost her voice. Well, it's kind of hard to make a video and sit here and talk when you have no voice. So it's like, well, we're going to have to wait until she's feeling better and gets her voice back. She is 85 to 90% of the way there. So we are starting to make some preparations for recording those videos, because we wanted to kind of detail our journeys as I was taking, my journey to kind of change my diet and lifestyle to prevent what happened with me from happening again, because I do believe that I probably wouldn't survive if it did happen again a second time. It is, by pretty much any stretch of the imagination, it is a miracle that I am here and functional at the capacity that I am, given what happened to me. If you're not familiar, if you just recently are checking out the channel and this is all new to you, check out some of the previous update videos from me, and you'll figure out what it is that happened. I'm not going to spend time dwelling on it now, but, so we're making these changes, and then the wife is taking the opportunity to make some changes for herself as well, because things are not perfect with her. She's not in the best health, and we want to be healthier, and we want to be there for our family and for Autumn and Abby, and, now for this new addition to our household. And so we're trying to make those changes and do that stuff. And we want to kind of vlog it, as it were, share it with others, because, if what we're doing can help somebody else to improve their life, isn't that worth it? So we are going to be making that video. She's most of the way back and ready with her voice to be able to do it. So you can stay tuned for that. It'll be happening hopefully sooner rather than later. Given when this video is going up, which is the early part of November here of 2025, I am in the process of putting together some material to do kind of a little special presentation. I wanted to do a video talking about Hanukkah. Now, having said that, I have started this video series on the feasts of the Lord. The 7 feasts of the Lord is recorded in the Bible. About halfway through that. Those also are coming. I have the material for the next one in line. I'm arranging the material for the one after that. So it's a case of finalizing that material, getting my printouts ready, and because it's that one's a much bigger production, and there's a lot of pre-production and post-production and stuff that goes on with it. And so it is coming. I'm going to finish that series. Hanukkah is still I would call it a biblical feast because it is recorded in a couple of instances in the Bible, but it's not one of the feasts of the Lord. But I still wanted to take a little time and talk about it, kind of a little bit of the history of it, tradition of it, and, share that with everyone. And if it can give you some insight, and maybe it's something you could share with your own family or friends to help them along and understand a little bit more of what Hanukkah is. I mean, Lord knows there are a ton of resources online of people covering that. So you don't even have to take, my video or look at that or anything for it. There's any number of sources you could go to look, but I'm going to add my 2 cents because I can. So anyways, that's another video that is going to get worked on in 2025, based on our reckoning and the marking of everything that we follow. Hanukkah will be happening starting right around mid-December towards the end of the month, because it is a holiday that runs for 8 days. And so I think right about the 16th to the 24th, something right in that range. So it will be posted before that, at some point before that. So you can look for that as well. So those are the main things there. Now, another little side note, it's not really on videos or anything, but just something I wanted to share, because it will reflect in the content that I make here on the channel. And that is, for a number of years, I was really actively taking Hebrew lessons. And I was learning about Hebrew grammar and how the language is set up, prefixes, suffixes, masculine, feminine, all these different things. Not necessarily a lot of translation, but how the language works. So if you get the basic framework of that, being able to identify the letters of the alphabet, being able to identify them in their different forms. There's a modern form, there's the paleo form. Just being able to do all that stuff. And then I figured I'd work on, translation as I got more familiar with that stuff. But that, just given life and given a lot of things, kind of fell by the wayside. And I'd really stopped doing it for quite some time. And I really noticed the other day that I was getting quite rusty on my Hebrew. I'm really having to slow down and look at the letters and like, what letter is that again? Oh, right, that's a cough. And it's just like that concerned me. So there is a website, and I think what I'll do is I'll actually throw a link in the description below if anyone else is interested. But it's a website that I used which really covered that grammar, and I think the fellow that put it together did a fantastic job. My hat's off to him for sure. And the fact that he has it available, that people can just go in and do this course. Donations are available if you want to look at that. And I think it's worthwhile. I think the work that he's done with that. And it's not just basic Hebrew lessons. He's got other things on his website. But the website itself, you can go in and Google. It is called Animated Hebrew. And I really hope I pronounce his name right. I believe his name is Charles Grebe. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Apologies if I did. But it is a great resource for learning Hebrew grammar specifically, and how the language is constructed and how it works. It really gets you into the bones of it. So I'm restarting that course, and I want to get back into Hebrew. It's a shame I didn't have it available to show on camera. At one point, I had purchased something called the Jerusalem Crown. This is the Bible, the official Bible of Israel. It is when they're, as I understand it, when they're swearing someone into the Knesset or however they do that, they use the Jerusalem Crown. It was commissioned officially. It was done through very official sources. And it is the official Bible of Israel, is the Jerusalem Crown. And I got a copy of that. There's not an English word to be found in that thing. And my mission was to be able to read this, properly. And that's still my mission. So I'm going to restart this course and work on, learning translation and stuff like that as I go. So that's another little thing I'm going to do. And I want to share some of that with the channel, with all of you, in video format as well here. So that's another thing that could be coming up. Now, the next thing I was going to mention is we do have an upcoming trip, which is going to be happening in the later part of November. We're going to be gone for probably close to 3 weeks. My intention, my goal is to try to have some material up, preloaded and scheduled for release before I go so that there will still be some uploads showing. But that all is dependent on me having enough time to sit down and record all of that stuff and get it uploaded beforehand. So if we roll into the latter part of November, the second half of November, and all of a sudden there's a big drought of videos, I wasn't able to do anything. Having said that, while traveling, I do want to try to do a couple of little updates on the road as we're going. This is a family function. My wife's mother kind of requested this. It's sort of a big birthday deal for her. She wanted to have the family come down and be able to treat them to this thing and just hang out as family. And so we want to do that. It's also a great experience to share with Autumn and Abby, and just for the whole family to have. So it's not cheap, and but we wanted to do it because it's something that we may not have the opportunity to do again, and we don't want to lose that chance. You know, the wife's mother is, she's getting up there in age, and you never know anyone when your time is coming, but you figure the older you get, the less far away it is, right? So we don't know. Now, she has taken a little bit of a downturn in her health. So those are things to worry about, much like my dad, who's also not in the best shape. So just trying to spend time with family like that, because family is important. It is very important. And we want to honor this request, as per the 10 Commandments, honor your father and your mother. So that's what will be happening. I'm going to try to have some videos up for that, but if not, then you know why. At the very least, again, hopefully there should be at least a couple of update videos that I can get in there just to say hi, check in, let everyone know I'm still alive. The last thing, and I'm going to close with this for this video, is just some prayer requests. We are working with someone right now who is not in good health. They're actually in pretty bad shape, and it's dire, may not be an unreasonable word. They're still here, and there's an opportunity to make things better and to help in the situation. But prayer is such a powerful tool. And, with man, a lot of things may not be possible, but with God, all things are possible. So, he could overnight have instantaneous healing. And if that happens, we will be making a video about it. But, in the meantime, just getting those prayer requests. It is for Carrie and also for my wife that just wrap up her last bit of healing there, Kristen. So, some prayer requests for that. Me as well. I always feel weird asking, give me stuff, even if it's prayers. I've never been one to do that. I'm much happier giving than receiving. But, I am working on my health, and there are still things that can improve for me. So, prayer requests there as well. And so just to throw that out. But mostly for Carrie. That's the big one. We'd like to see Carrie get a lot healthier. We want her to be around for a while. And that's our goal. We're going to do everything we can. We are making a lot of changes for her, improving diet, kind of dragging her along with me and what I'm doing. In fact, a lot of what she's eating is the same thing I'm doing for myself. It's just eating a lot more natural, getting rid of a lot of those ultra-processed, prepackaged foods, keeping an eye on, the sugars and the sodiums and things like that. So with all that being said, I do thank you all for checking out the video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any videos when they do come out, and there will be an increase coming up where all of us are dealing with a lot of stuff right now, and it has made it very difficult, if not impossible, to get content going on a more regular basis. But we will get past this hurdle, and things will resume and get better than they were before. That's still the goal, and that's where we're at. So thanks for checking it out. I'll see you in the next video. I do wish blessings to all of you in the name of Yeshua, our Messiah. And I say shalom, have a great week, and bye for now.
You've been watching Truth and Testimony, the broadcast. If you have a comment, please leave it on the bottom of this video or email us at truthandtestimonyemail@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Truth and Testimony, the broadcast, is not affiliated with Truth and Testimony magazine.